Ciao everyone, it's Magatino, and today we go for a joy drive with this beast. Attach? Not really, I would say this is more like a baby supercar. Let's go for a drive in the new A45S AMG. Guys, today I'm pretty excited to be driving this pocket rocket because a few years back I got to drive the first generation of the Mercedes A45 AMG, the one with 360 brake horsepower. But I'll be honest, I was a bit disappointed because I had some expectation. All the journalists said very good things about it. On the paper, it's a remarkable attach with a lot of power, but when I drove it, I found some defects that quite spoiled my driving experience. First thing, the engine. Very powerful, pretty impressive actually, but also a lot of turbo lag. I didn't expect it. Second, the gearbox, because it wasn't that good, to be honest. It was quite goofy and slow, especially on shift down. And third, the first generation of the A45, when new, it was quite pricey, and in the interior I found some low quality materials, like the infotainment display that looks like a tablet thrown on the dash, and the dashboard wrapped in fake carbon fiber. I mean, that car was expensive, it has an AMG badge on it, so why would you do something like that? And today I'm driving the brand new Mercedes A45S AMG. I have lots of expectation also for this car, and I hope for it to be as good as I think. The A45 and also the new A35 are quite successful entry-level AMG models, and I think they are the most sold AMG models of the range. I was quite impressed when last year I went to an official AMG track day, and most of the cars that I look in the paddock were A45. And considering that over the years Mercedes has set the bar higher and higher in the segment of the attach, today I want to see how's this car like to drive, because can we define this car attach or baby supercar, because the performance on the A45S are quite impressive actually. Now we can focus on the performance of the car, so let's move from comfort straight to race mode. We can do that with this pretty cool selector placed on the steering wheel. Whereas in comfort mode it feels like to be driving a normal Mercedes A-Class with a very soft steering wheel, a smooth throttle response. Now let's see the real soul of this car. This engine is scary, just look at it, look at the turbo, it's huge! In fact, this tiny 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine delivers an impressive 421 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. More than 400 horsepower out of such a tiny engine. Just imagine this engine with a stage 1 tuning, full exhaust and ECU remap. Oh yeah, it sounds good. It redlines at an impressive 7,000 RPM, which is quite a lot from such kind of engine. It doesn't have that much of turbo lag, which means that you can really enjoy this engine around these hairpins. It's 4MATIC, which means it's all-wheel drive. All the power is unleashed through all the tires, and the grip is endless. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. And here in the dark we can see lots of display, lots of tech in the interior. I didn't like the infotainment display on the first generation of A45, and here we have like a cinema. Just look at this giant display, 10-inch actually. We can see very clearly all the details like the engine revs, the speed, the gears. I like the interior, lots of Alcantara, leather, aluminium, I can feel the quality. Because this car is not really cheap, so you expect quality. It costs 63,000 euros plus options, obviously. And in this price range, you can buy a few interesting cars like the BMW M2 Competition, the Toyota Supra, or even the Porsche Cayman. But the thing is, those cars cannot be used daily and in all the occasions like this car. For example, the owner of this A45S wanted this car because he has a family, so he wants 4 doors, extra space. He likes also the fact that with the all-wheel drive you can basically use this car every day and in all conditions. And where I'm driving now, this place is beautiful. I am in Umbria region. Wow, lots of beautiful landscapes, roads, but on winter here we can find lots of snow. With the 4MATIC you can use this car with no problems. And in dry conditions you can bet the grip is endless. It has a lot of power, remarkable performance. We're talking about a car that goes to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.9 seconds with a top speed of 270 kilometers per hour. And it feels very safe to drive. The engine wheel, it feels so compact, so tiny, and I like the feeling behind the steering wheel because, well, to the touch, I like this Alcantara. But when it comes to the proper performance, this steering feels very sharp and communicative. So overall, it's impressive to see what the modern hot hatches have become, and I wonder what they will be in a couple of years, because we have passed the 420 horsepower benchmark. In my personal opinion, I have preferred to spend the equivalent of a full option A45S for a Ferrari 355 GTS, but in reality, around the road like this A45, I think it's quicker and you can use it every day, which is something I cannot do with the Ferrari. So those who look for a brand new compact, sporty and fast car, I think that for this price, this car is a good deal. I love the engine, but I do love also the brake, because of course when you have a lot of power to unleash, you also need good brakes to stop the car, and these Brembo brakes really do a perfect job on this car. Yeah, overall I'm positively impressed by this car. I was quite disappointed by the first generation of the A45, but this car, my goodness, I think Mercedes really did a good job. When this car was unveiled, a lot of enthusiasts talked about the so-called drift mode. So basically, if you put the drift mode, Mercedes claims you can go sideways with this car. We're not gonna do that because we are on a public road. I got to test drift mode when I got a Ford Focus RS press car, and on that car I think it was a quite pointless and stupid drift mode because you cannot really drift with it. The car was more like on the steering, and if you YouTube you can see quite a few videos of people trying to use that mode on a public road, resulting into a massive understeer into the wall. So here's why I'm not confident to do that with this car, because after all it's an all-wheel drive car, and I saw a couple of videos where actually around the track it doesn't really drift. You cannot call it driving sideways. It power slides a little bit, but it's not a drift. I think this mode is useful just to impress your friends or the girlfriend, to do some donuts around the parking lot. That's it. I wouldn't try to use drift mode on a all-wheel drive car around a public road. Nope. Another pretty cool feature that I think it's really useful, it's called drag race mode, which is nothing but the launch control. Drag race mode is meant to maximize the acceleration on this car, which is quite impressive. So with that kind of mode, you can smoke everyone at the light. Sono già in quarta! Mamma mia! So on the second-hand market, you can find the older A45 AMG for a very good price. And in a few years, I think this car will be a serious bargain, especially if you want to tune it and make it even spicier and quicker. This is a serious car. I'm impressed. I had a lot of expectations, and hopefully I can say that Mercedes has done a very good car with the A45S AMG. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching. Ciao!